Tonight on News 5 Live, a growing chorus calling for the removal of Minister Michelle Shabat amid controversy within the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The KHMH Workers Union elects a new president, and the Public Service Union takes on government on a new vaccine mandate for essential workers. And a massive shipment of narcotics is destroyed by fire. Details of these stories and more coming up in tonight's newscast.
We have been a partner with SMART for over 10 plus years. We have a full SMART plan we use as our major driver for our business. We have a service that rolls over in that if you call one and it is busy, it rolls over to the next line. So once you call us, you can get us at any time. Before we got this SMART service, we were paying upwards of nearly $2,000 in phone bills. Since we've had our SMART service, we pay an average about $600. So we've had tremendous saving, more than 50%. For the businesses, if you want to save money, switch to SMART because it is far more cost effective and the service is excellent.
SMART continues to be innovative in bringing new technology and meaningful savings during these challenging times to businesses across Belize. Sign up for our VoIP technology or broadband packages and save more.
Have you ever wondered how to tell if someone is marriage material? Do you ever wish there was more to your marriage? Maybe you've asked yourself, how do I raise my kids the way God wants me to? Join us for our new series, Mixtape. We'll play through how God wants us to love the people in our lives one track at a time. Get ready to crank up the volume and tune in for advice God gives us in the areas that matter most.
Get a chance to win one of 13 great prizes with BEL's Customer Rewards. To qualify, all your residential or social electricity accounts must have no arrears by November 30th, 2021. You can win a family vacation to Grand Caribe for 2 nights or exchange for a $1,500 grocery voucher. 2 nights family vacation stay at Blues Inn or exchange for a $1,500 grocery voucher. And 11 winners of an $800 grocery voucher. Remember, to qualify, all electricity accounts must be cleared and prizes will be awarded to the account holder. Win big with BEL's Customer Rewards.
Nestle. Start healthy, stay healthy.
How can we support the emotional well-being of older adults during COVID-19? During the COVID-19 pandemic, and particularly while in quarantine, individuals, including older adults, may become more anxious, angry, stressed, agitated, or withdrawn, especially those who need healthcare assistance or have cognitive decline or dementia. Here are 4 strategies that can help you in supporting an older adult during this difficult time. 1. Communicate information and listen. Present with accurate, simple, and accessible information and facts about the COVID-19 outbreak, its progression, treatment, and effective strategies to prevent infection. Listen patiently to their needs and concerns. For older people with mild cognitive impairment or early stages of dementia, inform them of what is happening within their capacity and provide support to ease their anxiety and stress. 2. Promote positive mental and emotional health. Provide access to available mental health and psychosocial support services, also known as MHPSS services, for older adults and communicate when and how they can access them. Help older people keep regular routines and schedules as much as possible. You can also help them create new ones, including regular exercising, cleaning, daily chores, singing, painting, or other activities. Facilitate regular communication between older adults and their friends and families. 3. Help with medical needs. Make sure that older adults have at least up to 1 month of all the regular medicines that they may require. Explain how to use protective devices in a clear, concise way. Always be respectful and patient. 4. Assist with daily activities. Provide older people with details related to how and where they can get practical help if needed, like calling a taxi, dropping off supplies, having groceries delivered, and requesting medical care, as well as information on any locally available social support programs and services. For more information, consult the webpage of the Pan American Health Organization, www.paho.org/coronavirus.
Good evening and welcome to News 5 Live for Tuesday, November 16. I am Sabrina Daly. The Public Service Union is joining the chorus calling for the removal of Minister of Health and Wellness Michelle Chabot, amid what appears to be turmoil within his ministry. We reported on Friday that former board member Dr. Fernando Cuellar resigned from his post on the executive of the Carl Huchner Memorial Hospital Authority, following remarks that Chabot made earlier in the week regarding the management of the National Referral Facility. But that appears to be the tip of the iceberg, where leadership of the public health system is concerned. This afternoon, PSU President Dean Flowers took a swing at the minister, echoing sentiments made by Dr. Cuellar during an appearance in the media on Monday. Flowers went a step further and divulged details of an internal memorandum that was circulated on November 5th, in which Chief Executive Officer Dr. Daisy Mendez was informed by the minister that any financial transaction that exceeds $3,500 must be approved by him. This, according to Flowers, contravenes the Constitution, which empowers the CEO as the accounting officer for the ministry.
I want to support the call of Dr. Cuellar and many others, because even representatives from the private sector have come to the realization that the Ministry of Health needs a lot of help where leadership is concerned. We have a minister who is administrating with a lot of arrogance and ignorance, and we have a CEO who has a medical background but who has been sidelined. And in my view, the only thing that I can tell you about the CEO is that I've received many termination letters with her signature on it. Outside of that, I've not seen a single response to our concerns within the Ministry of Health coming from her. So perhaps it's not only the minister that they need to reconsider. But the Ministry of Health is in crisis, and so we must call on the Prime Minister to look at a possible way of addressing that. Our members and public officers within the Ministry of Health are suffering, especially our essential services workers. They're not getting the kind of attention. The Belizean people are hurting, and the focus seems to be procurement, deciding who gets these contracts, who will do the procuring. The priority there seems to be. I just received some information that there's abuse where government fuel is concerned. There's an allegation that none other than the minister's son is driving around with the government fuel card. I am in receipt of instructions from the Minister of Health, and I quote, to the CEO, dated November the 5th, in which he stated to the CEO, kindly note that as of today, 5th of November 2021, no purchase orders, no invoices, no contracts, no agreements, no payments in excess of $3,500 is to be made by you without my express prior consent. We have a minister who has lost his way and who is not familiar with how the public sector runs. And sadly, I would have expected that the CEO would have responded to this and say to him, sir, the least you could do, man, that read the Constitution, man, read the legislation, which makes me the accounting officer. And so with all due respect, you need to stick to what you do best, which is.
One of the controversial topics for the past couple of weeks has been the shortages that the Karl Huchner Memorial Hospital continues to experience, followed soon thereafter by the criticisms of the hospital's board of directors, by Minister of Health and Wellness Michel Chabot. His sharp comments resulted in the resignation of board member Dr. Fernando Cuellar, who was appointed by Chabot 2 months ago. Dr. Cuellar shared his position on Open Your Eyes morning show today that Chabot's disapproval of the board was unfair because he knew that the board was doing its best to manage the very limited resources it has.
Karl Huchner is in dire need of a lot of different things. Karl Huchner is a safety net for those many people, a great percentage of our population, to get some type of health care. And of course, it does also work as the referral hospital where we should be able to provide tertiary care for the country. The subvention that is given once a month is not enough. And particularly if you use that subvention for up to the point of 80% of it for paying salaries and the day-to-day management, there's little that is left to absorb additional expenses. Mm-hmm. And since COVID, anyone who could understand that you have had to incur in additional expenses. It's practically like two hospitals in one. We have a COVID hospital and we have the regular hospital. And there's been a lot of adjustments to channel money towards the COVID area. And of course, with donation, and so we've managed to come by things that can be purchased are purchased. I took that appointment with the idea of zero tolerance. I have seen the movies played over and over when it comes to politics and what's happening in Belize. And what triggered this is that we had the team leader in healthcare, the Minister of Health, nobody else, actually said on public television that the Board of Governors was not doing their job. And he knows very well that's farthest from the truth. The chairman, the deputy chairman, the new CEO, and everybody else have been working hard trying to face the staff because the staff is frustrated, the morale is down, and we're trying to tell them things will get better where it won't happen overnight. So he knows more than anybody else. I wouldn't have reacted the way I did if the other person say something like that, that we're not pulling our weight. But he said it categorically.
UDP leader Patrick Faber today reiterated the opposition's call for Michel Chabot to step down as the Minister of Health and Wellness, citing the recent increase in COVID-related deaths, a lack of COVID enforcement, and the shortage of meds at the public hospitals, to name a few. Faber is calling for Prime Minister John Briceño to act immediately. Faber says he sides with Dr. Fernando Cuellar on this matter.
We call on him to declare this a crisis. It is a crisis. And to do whatever it takes and stop playing the games that he plays and the government plays. We call again for the resignation of Michel Chabot. I join, and this party joins with Dr. Cuellar, who is a very well-respected physician, clinician in this country, who has said he just ain't cutting it. And it is not the first time that we've seen this. There is confusion abound in the Ministry of Health, and he clearly has no clue. I think Dr. Cuellar was very kind to him by saying that he is bright and he's learning as he is going. Well, if that is the case, and if they could have blamed Good, Dr. Manza, for those initial deaths when the first wave or the second wave came. Imagine what words can be found to be said of him and his leadership and those who are at the helm medically now that we have surpassed. I think we are over 400 deaths now, going to 500. And that is a serious concern. So we call on the government again to include other stakeholders. You cannot do this on your own, and we need all hands on deck.
The Karl Huchner Memorial Hospital Workers Union is arguably the youngest labor organization to join the National Trade Union Congress of Belize, having been established a few years ago. 3 years after its first president was elected to office, the union is once again in the process of voting for a new executive. The election comes amid rocky times at the National Referral Facility, and a win for any of the 3 candidates vying for the post also means a seat on the KHMH executive. News 5's Isani Cayetano visited the hospital earlier and observed the process. Here's that story.
A new leader is being chosen to represent the employees of Karl Huchner Memorial Hospital as president of the KHMH Workers Union. There are 3 candidates vying for the office, and over a 2-day period, a few hundred ballots will be cast in their favor, but only one will emerge victorious. Lydia Alpuche Blake is the union's outgoing representative.
KHMH Workers Union came as a reality in 2015 when there were salary increases being given to the other public servants, and we were not considered public servants because we said we worked under a statutory body. So 12 of us stood together in a meeting in July 2015 and decided to challenge our position.
The borough administration acquiesced, and that agreement later gave rise to the establishment of a labor organization within the hospital. Since then, the KHMH Workers Union has been making strides in looking after the welfare of its members. Blake's tenure is at an end. However, several of the objectives that were initially agreed to by the government of Belize are yet to be fulfilled.
A memorandum of understanding was signed in October of that year, a tripartite memorandum of understanding, and certain points in it to be achieved within 3 years. And to this day, I believe, and the union believes, that if those points in that MOU would have been addressed, KHMH should be in a better position today, in spite of accountability, transparency, staffing. There's a point there that we would develop our own pay scale, a legal department would have been set up, collections and billing would have been set up, and so it's there. So at this point, it's no time for rebuilding or reinventing the wheels. There's a document there that needs to be reviewed.
It is on that platform that Andrew Beard, Daniela Bowden, and Remilio Castanedas are running for office. Their hope is that these concerns, a majority of which are yet to be fully addressed, will be taken in hand under a new mandate.
It's all about looking out for the staff of Karl Huchner to ensure that we get adequate benefits for the staff. As a union president, to look at a collective bargaining agreement that we have already started, to complete that collective bargaining agreement and to start the consultative process with the staff and then negotiative process with the board and management.
Daniela Bowden has been at the helm of the Accident and Emergency Department as her latest assignment. Her daily experiences at the unit with other members of staff is the impetus that drives her candidacy.
Well, presently we have about 600 and something members working here at Karl Huchner Memorial Hospital. I've been a member of the institution for about 23 and some odd years. I'm very dedicated, and recently, with all the upcoming events that have been happening worldwide, including this pandemic that we're facing, I have come to realize there are issues where my staff need our input as leaders.
After 9 years of working as a human resource officer with the hospital, Remilio Castaneda is offering himself for president. He was with the union from the onset but stepped aside briefly because of personal differences with its leadership. He is back once more to lead the charge.
I have been in the union before, and I left in June of 2020, because I honestly believe that we kind of stray away from what we were fighting for. And since the time I left, personal problems with some of the union executives, and I came back and I say, hey, a lot of people actually asked me to come back, and I've been listening to their cries, and this is the reason why I came back. So I know that we can move forward from where we are, and at the end of the day, it's win-win as much as the employees and the administration.
Whoever wins the presidential election will assume a seat on the KHMH Board of Directors reserved for union representation. This ensures that there is greater transparency and accountability at the board level going forward. Reporting for News 5, I am Isana Cayetano.
Coming up, the PSU lashes out against GOB's new vaccine mandate.
Hello, friends. This is Dr. Bob Roberts with another 60-second sermon from God's Word. The Bible says, "Then I went down to the potter's house, and behold, he wrought a work on the wheels. And the vessel that he made of clay was marred in the hand of the potter. So he made it again into another vessel, as it seemed good to the potter to make. O house of Israel, can I not do with you as I did this potter, saith the Lord?" A visitor once made a visit to a sculptor's studio, and as he was walking through the studio, he happened to see some blocks of marble laying off in a corner by themselves, and out of these castaways he saw a man's hand emerging from one of the blocks, a head with a face unfinished out of another, and other pieces of unfinished work. Being intrigued, he asked the artist why the pieces were unfinished and abandoned. The artist replied, "All those pieces showed great promise on the outside and on the surface, but as I chiseled deeper, flaws and defects in the marble that were not visible on the surface showed up, and they had to be abandoned." The good news is that God specializes in castaways. He can take a life or a nation that once appeared to be destined for greatness but was ruined by sin and cast away as useless, and make something new of beauty and purpose out of it. If a potter can take a piece of marred clay and make it again, God says to nations and to individuals, as he said to Israel, "Can I not do with you as this potter?" So why not give God a chance in your life? Today's 60-second sermon has been presented by Christian Foundations of Faith in cooperation with the Baptist churches in your area.
Did you know that the 2021 Belize Telephone Directory is now available? Get your free copy today at any Digistore, Quartz Belize, and A&R location countrywide. It's available in both regular and mini sizes and loaded with coupons to your favorite places. Use these coupons to save every day. Plus, download the Find Yellow mobile app and always have the directory with you. It's available in Google Play and Apple Store. For more info, log on to www.findyellow.com. The 2021 Belize Telephone Directory. Get yours today.
Congratulations! You just completed doing home improvements and renovations to your home. However, were you planning to tell your insurance company about the recent home improvements? Do you know that this is important? Utmost good faith is an insurance principle that requires both you and the insurance company to act honestly and not mislead or withhold critical information from each other. In other words, an addition to your home, or if you have converted your home into a business, is something that you should inform your insurance company of. This is information that may affect your policy coverage and could impact future claims you make to your insurance company. For more information on utmost good faith and your coverage options, our friendly representatives will be happy to assist you. Call us at 223-5734 or visit our website at www.rfginsuranceBelize.com to find an agent near you. Don't forget, it pays to get it right with RF&G Insurance, a Rowe Group company.
The TV you love is always with you, from live TV, sports, and on-demand titles. Choose your plan today. Plans start as low as $15 per month. My TV. Entertainment anytime, anywhere.
Over the years, vaccines have protected us from serious diseases like whooping cough, chickenpox, polio, measles, and others. Vaccines help your immune system do its job better and faster, and that protects you from serious diseases. Like a police officer, your immune system is always on patrol in your body looking for invading germs. When it comes across a germ, it begins releasing antibodies to fight the germ. These antibodies work to attack, weaken, and destroy the germ. The COVID-19 vaccine is no different. It will work to help your immune system fight COVID-19 effectively. You are important to your family and friends. Vaccines bring us closer.
Need a paint which offers superior quality and durability? Then the choice is easy. Designed specifically for your home's exterior, Benjamin Moore Ultra Spec EXT offers ultra smooth performance. It's easy to apply, has low odor, and is mildew resistant. Bring life to your home by choosing the color and sheen to suit your style. Benjamin Moore Paints, available at Benny's. Quality and savings.
Accidents on the job can result in a loss of life, which is devastating. If your loved one dies as a result of a work-related accident, you may be able to receive a death benefit from the Social Security Board. Death benefit is paid to a widow or widower, children under 18 years, or up to 21 years if attending school, or dependent parents. Death benefit is a monthly payment paid to the dependents of the deceased. Dependents receive the death benefit for life from the date of their loved one's death or until they no longer meet eligibility. Want to know more about death benefit? Visit our website or contact any of our offices to have someone assist you. Also, be sure to visit our Facebook page and give us a like to stay informed. Social Security Board, safeguarding you, your family, your future.
When something is good and you can save, that makes it even better. Like this guy, he buys Flex bundles using his promo credit. No worries when his primary credit is finished. He gets talk, text, and data for free. Or her, she calls her family internationally with her promo credit. And with data packages so affordable, she even does video calls. Smart continues to offer great deals and affordable promotions. As a small business owner, she saves when she uses her promo credit to call the other guys. All Smart customers enjoy more triple days and knowing they can use their promo credit, which just lasts longer. Smart, bringing people together.
A new mandate comes into effect on December 15th, requiring all public officers and essential workers to be inoculated with at least the first jab of the COVID-19 vaccine in order to be allowed access to their workplace. The authoritative order issued by CEO Rolando Zetina via circular is being met with objection from the Public Service Union, which is seeking legal advice on the matter. According to PSU President Dean Flowers, the latest decision taken by the Briceño administration is tantamount to discrimination.
We are in receipt of the memo as the wider public is signing the CEO prior to emailing out the memo. Made a courtesy phone call to me to inform me that it was coming out and informing me that it's really beyond his control. It's an instruction handed down to him, of course, from our dictatorial colleagues or friends or ministers coming out of cabinet, no? So the Ministry of Public Service, of course, simply carried out the instructions. Now, the first thing that concerns us or that pops to our mind, of course, is on what basis does this circular becomes enforceable? There's no legal basis for it. Is it that the government intends to go back to the House or pass via an SI or the new SI that will be coming out shortly? An amendment that will now require essential workers and public officers to be fully vaccinated to be able to access public buildings. We believe that would be the case. And of course, a follow-up to that would be then, if they're going to do that, to be able to make this enforceable or legally enforceable, is it that this administration will continue its discrimination against public sector workers?
You got it. In speaking with News 5 this evening, Flowers also called out the private sector for the purported double standard where vaccine mandates are concerned. He says that the business community objected loudly to similar measures being imposed on employees within the private sector, but that it seemingly supports the position being taken by government for all public officers to be vaccinated by mid-December.
We saw the private sector calling for this. We saw whereby the private sector called for this. We saw where the private sector refused to hold its own self accountable by demanding that the same measuring stick be levied on their employees. So this is discrimination against public sector workers because it does not take into consideration workers outside of the public service. And those are some of the things that immediately comes to mind. You know, it's unfortunate because this administration does not consult. They've never consulted with us since taking office as it relates to COVID-19. They simply believe that their interpretation of industrial relations is that they don't need to consult. So ultimately, they're not respecting the collective bargaining process where dialogue is concerned, you know, with the employees representative, and we're very disappointed. But we will see how best we can address it. We are currently engaged in a survey to ascertain how much of our members remain unvaccinated, and then we will be able to be in a better position to see how we can address this mandate that comes into effect on the 15th of December, or is supposed to come into effect on the 15th of December. I received a memo, however, from the Central Medical Lab, which was issued by Melissa Diaz-Musa. And she's informing her staff that she wants the vaccination card by the 1st of December. I don't know under what authority she's able to do that as well. But as I said, clearly we're dealing with an administration that lacks cohesiveness. There is absolutely no real leadership coming out of the Ministry of Health to be able to coordinate and ensure that these things involve people and that they're done in a unified effort and in a state of dialogue.
Earlier in our newscast, we heard from Dr. Fernando Cuellar on his views of the Minister of Health's comments regarding the KHMH board. Dr. Cuellar was a part of the KHMH executive up until last week, when he tendered his resignation with immediate effect. He explained that the defining moment when he decided to step down as a board member was when he tried to consult with other colleagues to get their feedback on Shabat's comments, and he found that some of them seemed to support the minister.
A couple of them actually came out in defense of the minister. Okay, it said that they were saying like things like, listen, we don't want to say nothing publicly, we don't want to give the impression that we're fighting with the minister. And I say that how could I work with a group of people where the truth is right there, lay bare, and yet you be sensitive to the minister's image, okay? And pretty much I had said zero tolerance. And I think that if I give one lead chance, like the Creole word say, has no where weak fence there, they are happening over and over, because it has happened. That has been the modus operandi of governments, of the political parties, of politicians, that once they know that they can bamboozle you, they do it.
Dr. Cuellar also criticized the structure of the Ministry of Health and shared his view that the ministry ought to be restructured.
We have gone through exercises, we spent millions of dollars talking about health reform and how this thing will work, but there's been no political will to install it. We only have 400,000 people, Marlene, and it doesn't need Fernando Cuellar to come out and say we need a CAT scan, for example, one CAT scan in the public system. Why would it need Fernando Cuellar to be harking on that?
On Monday, 10 COVID-related deaths were recorded and shared during the daily report issued by the Ministry of Health and Wellness. The alarming number of deaths reported in one day sent shockwaves across the country. Today, the ministry issued a release clarifying the manner in which data for COVID-19 deaths are compiled and reported in the infographic. It says that the ministry reports a COVID-related death when the medical practitioner issues a death certificate. A copy of that certificate is submitted to the epidemiology unit for reporting. This procedure may cause a delay in confirming a COVID-19 death and when it is inputted into the Belize Health Information System. The release ends by explaining that the 10 deaths were recorded between November 2nd and November 15th, with the 8 and 10 recording 2 deaths each. When we come back, 25 bales of cocaine is incinerated and the opposition criticizes the Ministry of Health and Affairs. But first, here's a look at the latest COVID-19 figures.
Bundle the fastest, most reliable, unlimited broadband in Belize with your prepaid or postpaid mobile plan or Netflix. You can bundle your broadband with your prepaid and enjoy 50% off all national calls, plus get SMS and data. Paid plans? Then bundle with any speed and pay only $25 extra monthly to enjoy unlimited smart-to-smart calls, plus 500 minutes, plus 6,300 megabytes of data. Stream unlimited HD movies and TV shows with our broadband, plus the Netflix add-on for only $30 monthly, and enjoy streaming on your laptop, TV, phone, or tablet. Visit a smart showroom near you to sign up or upgrade to the bundle that's right for you. Smart, bringing people together.
Improving lives, delivering quality. Water for you and me in Belize. Be BWS, we make it happen.
Belize Water Services Limited is committed to improving the lives of Belizeans across the country. BWS is focused on improving service delivery to all our valued customers by continuously expanding our service areas to new customers. These improvements, which are spearheaded by the Board of Directors with the support of the government, will ensure delivery of this essential service to as many Belizean residents as possible. Despite the challenges of COVID-19, since April 2020, BWS has installed over 60,000 feet of water mains and connected 1,938 new customers to the water networks. In the last 7 years, BWS has extended 142 miles of water main to connect over 12,000 new customers. Other than providing safe, potable water to thousands of new consumers, these water network investments have improved pressure and service continuity to existing customers. Infrastructure upgrades have also been completed from Roaring Creek to Tea Kettle Village, along with Esperanza to Santa Elena. Village residents can now enjoy improved water pressure in their homes.
I would like to say a big thank you to SIF and BWS for doing a wonderful job, for recognizing the need of the people in Sarawi. We're very grateful knowing that we can rely on something like having water in the village.
Works continues with upgrades to water mains in Cayo, Benque, Dangriga, Orange Walk, and Corozal. These upgrades allow for new service installations to families in the surrounding villages, and BWS has even more expansions in the pipeline. BWS also continues to invest in other areas to bring improved service to customers. The newly constructed Orange Walk branch office was officially inaugurated on September 15, 2021.
We're here to inaugurate this beautiful building, this very modern building, $1.5 million, quite impressive. And it goes to show the long-term commitment that BWS has not only to Orange Walk, but also to the country of Belize. More than ever, we're realizing that for our country to be able to grow, to expand, to prosper, we must have access to water. But not only water, but potable drinking water, healthy water that can keep our citizens healthy, so that with the extension that we can grow and continue to develop this beautiful country of ours.
Other investments include backup generators, electrical systems upgrade, and more modern information technology systems. These improvements are even more essential in order to serve customers properly and safely with the current COVID pandemic. To minimize service interruptions, BWS has invested $4.5 million over the last 10 years on electrical systems and generators, which is essential to minimize service interruptions to consumers. These have helped to deliver service continuity of 99.98% to BWS customers. With all the improvements and expansion of services, BWS is committed to continue reaching even more consumers with high-quality potable water and improved customer service.
Belize Water Services, delivering water and more.
Brianna, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Mommy, when I grow up, I want to be a doctor.
That's great, honey. You have to study hard then and get good grades.
Yes, Mommy, I will. Mommy, why do the neighbors have to play the music so loud?
Every day, people are affected by noise. Noise, like loud music, is not a concern for those making the noise because they are not the ones being affected. It is usually the vulnerable that is impacted the most by noise pollution, such as the sick, the elderly, and the young. That is why the Department of the Environment is asking you to be considerate of your neighbors. Be mindful that your actions can have lasting effects. and know that noise pollution is an offense under the pollution regulation.
Today, the Belize Police Department destroyed 25 bales of cocaine confiscated during the drug bust in Bladen, Toledo District earlier this month. 822 kilos of narcotics contained in almost 700 parcels were cut open, tested, and then destroyed by fire. The media was once again there to witness the destruction headed by the newly installed National Operations Commander of the Belize Police Department, Assistant Commissioner of Police Alfred Greenidge. Here's that report.
This morning, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 11 a.m., we escorted to our undisclosed location the drugs that was found during the operation a couple of weeks for destruction. This morning we destroyed a total of 698 parcels of cocaine to a total of 822.46 kilos.
That's 1,813.21 pounds of cocaine confiscated by police following the November 4th drug plane landing on the Southern Highway near Bladen Village. The brazen illicit activity involved police officers who, along with 6 civilians, facilitated the landing of the narco-jet carrying 25 bales of cocaine. Today, in the presence of a magistrate, as well as a justice of the peace and a representative from the National Forensic Science Services, the drugs were destroyed.
Just like what we did before when we processed it for evidence procedures, it's in reverse. And before the drugs were destroyed this morning, it was then retested by the forensic personnel who certified that it is the same contents of cocaine that was initially obtained, after which it was destroyed, put in the fire and destroyed.
The urgency, some would say, why the urgency to destroy evidence?
It's not an urgency. I mean, we have this, we had to have officers mining these drugs, and we need these officers on the street. So, you know, we got the order to destroy already from the magistrate, so we decided to do it today.
Newly installed Commander of Operations Assistant Commissioner of Police Alfred Greenidge oversaw the destruction and explained the need for heavy security presence in the area.
You know that drugs is always a commodity that everybody would like to have, and as well the cartels would also want to retain their product that we have in our custody. So while dealing with this, we usually ensure that we have adequate security to ensure that the safety of persons that will be assisting us in the procedure are there to contain, and also for our safety as well.
Dwayne Moody for News 5.
ACP Alfred Greenidge took over as Commander of National Operations after Deputy Commissioner Vidal was transferred from that post. This is because several members of his team were implicated during the drug plane landing. 11 persons in total have been charged since then, including 4 police officers, Sergeant George Ferguson, Corporal Elmer Na, and Police Constables Delwyn Casimiro and Nelson Middleton. Today, News 5 confirmed that additional charges will be leveled against the accused men. But in that process, we also got a reaction from ACP Greenidge about his colleagues finding themselves on the other side of the law.
This is not the first, and I am sure this would not be the last. We'll try our best to ensure that we maintain integrity within the police department, but at the same time, you know, dealing with it, me personally involved in the investigation, it's heartbreaking to know that persons that you trust, especially the ones that is named at this point in time in connection of that last landing, you know, there are persons that was very close to the operations office, which I know I hold. So it's something that we always look at, that I will be looking at to ensure that reoccurrence does not occur.
What happens next?
Well, the next step, as you heard the commissioner mention on numerous television sites, that the investigation continue, and the matter is before the court already. I know the bail application that has been launched, and we expect that additional charges will be brought forward to the guys that was detained.
Others charged in the case include Mennonites Heinrich Redekop and Johan Wall, and several others. But there is one aspect of the Narco 11 bus that UDP Chairman Michael Parafit says is not being talked about enough. When the initial 4 police officers responded to the illicit landing, they came under heavy gunfire, possibly from their own colleagues. Here's what Parafit had to say at today's UDP press conference.
First of all, remember the Prime Minister, I don't know if you remember, that I called him a liar when he was the leader of the opposition. He had implied that there's no way drug planes could land without UDP ministers knowing about it or being involved. Well, if that is the narrative and that is the logic, then tell us, Prime Minister, which one of your ministers are involved in this? The logic only follows if you're saying that that's the case. You have a situation as well where it's bad enough that criminals are engaged with criminals, but nobody is talking enough about this aspect of that plane landing last week in Bladen, or a couple weeks ago in Bladen. When the police officers approached the plane, they were shot at, allegedly and clearly, if you draw a reasonable inference, by other police officers. So you have a scenario where it's so bad that police officers probably shot at police officers. And if that is the scenario that we're dealing with, our policeman could shoot after another policeman, what do you think they want to do with me or you? That is the state that we're in. And where is the Minister of Home Affairs? Where is his CEO who had so much to say? Silent, absent, just like the Prime Minister.
The Minister of Health and Wellness is not the only one the UDP wants to see out of office. Party Chairman and UDP Senator Michael Parafit says the Minister of Home Affairs and his CEO have got to go. Addressing the issue of crime and violence, Parafit asserted that Minister Karim Musa and CEO Kevin Arthurs have failed to get the crime situation under control.
Following in the vein of the party leader's call just a while ago, there is no question about it at this time. Karim Musa and Kevin Arthurs must go, and go now. They must resign, or the Prime Minister must remove them from their posts. These two individuals had the most to say when they were in opposition, and now they have the least to say, that they are now in charge of the ministry that they claim to know so much about when they were in opposition. Imagine, for the first time in many years, you have a ministry that deals with primarily just the police from a policy standpoint. New growth industries seem to be just marijuana, which was something that we had started laying the groundwork for, but it's primarily the police department that these two individuals are in charge of, and they have utterly failed. Look back to their Plan Belize statement on law enforcement when they initiated this before the November elections. This is the statement that they made. This is an area plagued with internal problems and low levels of public confidence. There are few immediate solutions, but 1 year of intense and sustained actions moving in the right direction would make a huge difference. Well, as Shane said earlier, it's been a year, sir. So either you have failed and you're admitting you have failed, or you have failed to carry out intense and sustained actions moving in the right direction. Either way, you need to step down. Crime is out of control. Younger people are dying, if you notice. Brazen robberies are on the rise. Silence from the leadership of the Ministry of Home Affairs and the police department. Morale is at an all-time low.
Parafit, the former Minister of Police under the Barrow administration, went on to challenge Minister Musa about the current state of affairs in the police department, accusing him and his CEO of lacking the ideas and vision to steer the department forward.
This is what Karim Musa said 2 years ago. 2 years ago he said this, we now have criminals wearing uniforms. And so the state is not protecting us. They're not protecting the citizens. We have no reason to feel safe anymore in this country. And it's from top to bottom. The government, everybody, is just a lawless state that we're living in. That's what he said, 2 years ago. That's something that he should be saying today. When he appointed CEO Arthurs, and I'm going straight after them because they're the leadership and they have the most to say. Their mouths were the loudest. When he appointed Kevin Arthurs, this is what he said about Arthurs. Somebody who very well versed not only in the law, but somebody with excellent ideas, excellent vision, and strategies. No doubt confident will be able to deliver in his job as the new CEO of the ministry. Where are the ideas? Where is the vision? Where are the strategies to stem the rise in crime? Where is it? It's as if though they don't care. They're busy posting photographs on Miami Beach with basketball players instead of focusing on what you need to do.
After the break, ruction at Crewman Lagoon over squatting. But first, here's a weather update with data from the Belize Met Service.
It's a fact that your credit lasts longer when using Smart. During these times, we're all trying to find ways to cut costs and save the little resources we have. With Smart, it's easy to do that. It's a fact that with Smart, your credit lasts longer. You can call Smart to Smart and Smart to Digi using your promo credit, while with the other guy, you can only call OnNet, Digi, or BTL numbers. What does this mean? You get to call any national number using your promo credit. Your promo credit is free, so that call is also free. Know your facts. Don't be tricked by the other guy. Be smart and save your dollars.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Wow. Oh my God, she drunk. No hurry, I got this. Goodness. Oh my gosh, it's Stig the artist.
Being the hardest. Stig the artist. But you had way more than 2 drinks tonight, love, which is a legal limit to drive. What about you? Can you drive?
Well, I was drinking soft drink all night, so I can drive her home. Thanks, Bree. Of course, Tricia. You know I got you. You're my girl.
That's what I like to see. Friends don't let friends drive drunk, because you can't replay in a real life. Stig says so. Can't replay in a real life.
Hey, Dad.
Hi, Brian. Please stop running around the house.
Right now, Dad.
Damn it, Brian! I told you stop it! Can't you hear me? Are you deaf? Or you just being Time out. Your life is stressful, and it is easy to lose your patience. When you feel this is about to happen, take a time out. Harsh words are verbal violence and can be very harmful. They are not forgotten. Offering alternatives and communicating with your child is the best way to build real respect. I'm sorry, Brian. That just had a rough day at work. Can you do something quiet? That's more like it.
The ongoing problem of squatting, purportedly on private land in the Crewman Lagoon area of the Collet constituency, led to a blockade of the access road leading to their houses on Monday. Belize City Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard had the boulders that blocked the entrance removed. But the problem is far from solved. Reporter Marian Ali went out to the area today and found out that while the solution is a ways off, there is a move afoot now to try to end a dispute between squatters and developers.
Many governments come in and come out, and I never get a piece of land. So now I decide, well, I want to come take one piece. I know this is the problem.
The problem that Elias Petch is referring to is the controversy that has perpetuated for over a decade, where people who need land and housing have squatted in the Crewman Lagoon, purportedly on land that is privately owned. The landowner is believed to be the one behind blocking the entrance to the road that leads to their homes. While Deputy Mayor Alan Pollard intervened and had the boulders removed, the problem still exists. The squatters have nowhere to go and have built their lives around the location they have called home for years.
I have my little business here, so I help, and I have my 3 kids in school. So I can move because I don't have nowhere to go. And if this place that is for the government, we could buy a little piece only for we have we house.
I'm 53 years old. I born and grew up in Belize. Okay. And I entitled to a piece of land.
Have you tried to apply to get a piece of land?
Over and over.
Okay. And?
No, just fruitless.
Area representative for Collet, Patrick Faber, blames the problem on his PUP opponents and went on to point out that the area where the squatters reside is a flood-prone area.
Unbeknown to me, there was some settlement with Jack Charles, and there was they allotted him legally the portion of the land that actually extends into the lagoon without consultation with me as the area rep. And I made known my position then. So if you ask me, even the portion that Jack Charles is now claiming that is not on the periphery of the highway and extends back into the lagoon should never have been distributed. And my position as it relates to persons who continuously squat on the lagoon, that is not a safe place to be. And as the area representative, while I have not led a campaign to remove those people for obvious reasons, I cannot and have never supported them staying there.
But while the area is a hazard zone for the squatters, we gathered from those who assembled at the road entrance that a significant number of them are reluctant to move. If you get the chance to own a house, own a piece of land, but it's not in this area, you would have to relocate. Would you be willing to do that?
Well, it's a lot of money for move, mommy. We can't move the old houses where we have right there.
So you're not willing to relocate?
Oh.
What is it that you're asking for then?
I can't say, well, everybody has to come together and say what we can do.
What Deputy Mayor Pollard and the City Council have done is to begin talks with international funding agencies to explore the possibility of getting assistance to address the problem. Pollard says there is also a committee set up to look at the issue.
We have to look at it and say, all right, what's the way forward? Will we do relocation? Will we do, what will it be? What will the area be designated for? Is it going to be a natural catchment area? Will there be a plan in place to alleviate flooding and have it mixed with residential? What is the plan forward? But that needs to firstly be identified.
But how long will that take? It's been years already. If this man owns this land, is it also fair to keep him from developing his land and opening his own business?
I agree it's been years, but it has been years under previous administration. All right? Our administration is a fairly young administration, and we understand the situation at Lands Department with all the backlog. But from my understanding, there is a committee already established who is looking at these particular subjects.
Reporting for News 5, I'm Marian Ali.
News 5 reached out to the land developer Jack Charles for comment, but he reserved those comments for another time. On matters related to the economy, Area Representative Tracy Panton today called on the Briceño administration to immediately lower taxes on fuel. Panton argues that while government cannot control global prices, it has the ability to decrease its tax intake on fuel. Panton reasoned that skyrocketing fuel prices is the main driver of price increases across the local economy.
Fundamentally, the cost of fuel prices is what's driving the increases in costs in all commodities. It's driving what is imported. It's driving the increases in what is locally produced. It's driving the increases in controlled commodities in this country. So the baseline is that the tax intake on fuel needs to be adjusted until the global price index for fuel is reduced. The government has an obligation and a duty and a responsibility to take care of the basic needs of its citizens. So first and foremost, we need to look at reducing and mitigating the impact of fuel costs in this country at this time. And a second thing, you're right, you know, Brother Chairman, they want us to do the government's job. But the other thing is that the Bureau of Standards, the Consumer Protection Agency on record, has to ensure, do its job to ensure that the shopkeepers and the grocery owners are not gouging at the most difficult time, where people salaries have been cut by 10%, where jobs have been lost, where livelihoods have been threatened, where people are still not working. There are families in my constituency where both mother and father have lost their jobs. And for those people, the government ought to reinstate the safety net programs that will help these families along until we can get back to a place of normalcy.
And on the issue of corruption, Leader of the Opposition Patrick Faber called for transparency in the payment of legal fees brought on by the Blue Bond Agreement. A recently tabled 2021-2022 supplementary budget allocation brought before the House of Representatives called for the approval of $15 million to be paid in legal fees as a part of the agreement. According to Faber, little to no information has been given about who will receive this payment.
Despite the fact that all the heavy lifting was done already, or as my colleague, the chairman of the party and our lead senator in the Senate put it, they woke up on third base and no work had to be done. Then explain to us, Mr. Prime Minister, if it is not corruption, if it is not something that you feel the need to hide. And we did ask the question in the Honorable House. I'm not sure if it was asked in the Senate, but I believe because you cover all grounds, Mike, you and your team, that you asked again, what the hell was the $15 million for? And who is going to collect that $15 million? And I would hope that neither Messrs. Koyi or Courtney are collecting any of that money.
The Leader of the Opposition also called on Prime Minister Briceño to give an open explanation for public monies reportedly spent on a medical bill for Ingrid Vega, the wife of deceased Corozal Bay Area Representative David Dido Vega. Reports are that the bill dated back to December 24, 2020 at Belize Healthcare Partners, where Vega was being treated after falling severely ill with COVID-19. When Minister Shabat was asked about the payment recently in a public interview, he said the decision was taken by the Ministry of Finance. Well, Faber is calling on the Minister of Finance, Prime Minister Briceño, to shed some light.
We hear now of a situation where the government has agreed to pay for the medical bills of a former elected representative. Now, on the surface of things, there might be a, sorry? Well, that's the thing, I am not sure. I am not sure. I want to believe it's the way you put it, Fonzo. It may be for the two of them because Dido Vega can't pay no bill now. God bless him. And so it may well be that it is the hospital bill that was left haunting the wife, who was also a client of the hospital and suffered from COVID-19. In fact, I think she may have, well, I don't know that she was intubated, but spent quite a number of days in the hospital as well. We don't have any quarrel with the Vega family, and we know that that time was very, very much a time of turmoil. But the Prime Minister owes this nation an explanation. If you are going to contract $146,000 of the taxpayers' dollars to pay a bill like this, $14,000 a month. If it is you are giving some kind of ex gratia payment because this man would have, at the time if he had died in office, been awarded some kind of pension to his family if he died while he was in office, then tell us. But it is a slap in the face of the Belizean population when it is you simply go under the radar.
Up next, Reese Fitzgibbon describes police abuse and how he got shot with a rubber bullet.
What is the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine? The Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine is an RNA vaccine that triggers our immune system to develop antibodies against the SARS-CoV-2 virus that causes COVID-19. It helps to reduce hospitalization, severity of the disease, and death. What is the Pfizer vaccine made of, and is it safe? The Pfizer vaccine is made up of mRNA messenger ribonucleic acid, which are molecules that carry the genetic information needed to make proteins, lipid, salts, and sugar. It is safe for persons 12 years and older and does not contain the COVID-19 virus, hence cannot cause infection. Tests have shown that the vaccine is effective against current virus variants. Who should take the Pfizer vaccine? The Pfizer vaccine should be taken by persons 12 years of age and older who do not have severe allergic reaction after a previous dose of vaccine or have not had severe allergic reaction to any ingredient of this vaccine. 2 doses of the vaccine are required 3 weeks apart. If you are between the ages of 12 and 17 years, you are required to present a signed consent form before you are vaccinated. What are the side effects of the Pfizer vaccine? Some common side effects of the Pfizer vaccine are headache, fatigue, muscle pain, fever, chills, and swelling at the injection site. If side effects persist, contact your doctor as soon as possible. Does the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine prevent infection and transmission? No, vaccination alone does not prevent infection and transmission. We are still required to continue to wear masks properly, physically distance, wash and sanitize hands often, practice proper coughing and sneezing hygiene, and avoid crowds.
On On Saturday night, 28-year-old Reese Fitzgibbon was shot with a rubber bullet by police officers who stormed his residence on Supal Street in the wake of a shooting incident on Amara Avenue. He was reportedly taken into police custody after being injured and denied medical attention in the first instance. He claims that it wasn't until he recorded his injuries and went live on social media that the arresting officers finally allowed him to seek the attention he needed. According to Fitzgibbon, even after returning from the hospital, he was denied the medical legal form that was issued by the doctor.
They stormed at my place like after 8, right? They run up to my yard, say, they just run in and bang, 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 bang for my door. You understand? Then they my 2 stepdaughter there, because they're 13 or 12 years old. So now, I open my door for everybody else. I open my door, they just start grabbing me in my clothes and they drag me out through my door. Understand? I tell them, big man, how to deal with me, so what I do? They say, let's go, you're going. I say, big man, I can't go nowhere because they're my 2 legal and I can't left neighbor. They say, because I don't night, you understand? I don't play anything there. They say, I don't give a fuck. You're going. No. 2, 3 and they were big, you know, they were like diesel, they grab me, bend up my hand for no reason, handcuff me, now open the truck back, put me at the back, and as I get in at the back of the truck, they push a shotgun for me and just shot me off of my foot in the truck, you understand? Bust up my whole side of my hand. Then afterwards now, when they don't shot me, they take off up the street for my lane, brakes and they check me for see what kind of damage they do to me, understand? If that is my real bullet, I lose my life, big man. Simple, just innocent, you understand? For something I mean I know about. When they carry me at the station now, when I reach the car probably run the station now, he down there, he called for his boss. Right in front of me, he called for his boss. Boss, we just get Fitzgibbon, but we shut down. So look at the boss asked, what want to shut down for? He tell him because they resist arrest. So I had a big man, a liar, and they chance me. They shot me and they don't handcuff me and they chop back for no goddamn reason, you understand? He start kick up me in my back and behind my leg and I think they tell the back office and carry him here, swung the building, carry him here, see in the back, or lock him down, we don't no hospital. Yeah, left down there for punish.
And that's the news. Tonight's broadcast is available in both text and streaming video at channel5belize.com. You can also connect with us on our Facebook page at facebook.com/News5Live. I'm Sabrina Daly. Thanks for joining us, and from all of us here at News 5, please remember to wash your hands, keep your social distance, and stay safe. Good night.